concept of the devil wanting to keep Christians poor is a notion that has been debated and discussed among Christians for centuries. According to biblical teachings, Satan, the devil, is an adversary who seeks to disrupt God's plan for humanity and lead people away from a relationship with God. One of the ways he achieves this is by keeping Christians in a state of poverty, both spiritually and financially. The devil's strategy is rooted in his understanding of human nature and the ways in which poverty can affect a person's spiritual well-being. When Christians are struggling to make ends meet, they often become consumed by their financial difficulties, leading to anxiety, stress, and worry. These emotions can distract them from their faith and relationship with God, causing them to lose focus on their spiritual priorities. As a result, the devil can effectively silence their witness, limit their ministry, and hinder their ability to fulfill the Great Commission. Furthermore, poverty can lead to a lack of resources, making it difficult for Christians to engage in ministry and outreach. When individuals are struggling to provide for their own needs, they may not have the means to support their local church, participate in missions, or contribute to charitable causes. This can weaken the church's ability to spread the gospel, care for the poor, and meet the needs of the community. By keeping Christians in a state of poverty, the devil can limit the expansion of God's kingdom and prevent believers from fulfilling their God-given purpose. Another reason the devil wants to keep Christians poor is to undermine their faith and trust in God's provision. The Bible teaches that God is a loving Father who provides for the needs of His children. When Christians experience poverty, they may begin to doubt God's love and provision, wondering if He has abandoned them or is unable to meet their needs. This can lead to a crisis of faith, causing believers to question their relationship with God and their place in His plan. By fueling these doubts, the devil can erode a Christian's confidence in God's goodness and provision, making it more difficult for them to trust Him in times of need. In addition, poverty can lead to a lack of influence and credibility in the world. When Christians are struggling financially, they may not have the platform or resources to share their faith with others. The devil recognizes that Christians are called to be salt and light in the world, and by keeping them in poverty, he can limit their impact and effectiveness. As a result, the gospel may not be shared as widely, and the church may not be able to demonstrate the love and compassion of Christ to a world in need. To counter the devil's strategy, Christians must understand the importance of living a life of financial stewardship and faith. This involves trusting God to provide for their needs, being wise and responsible with their resources, and seeking to honor Him in all aspects of their financial lives. By doing so, Christians can break free from the cycle of poverty and experience the financial freedom and abundance that God desires for them. This, in turn, can enable them to fulfill their God-given purpose, support the ministry of the church, and demonstrate the love and provision of Christ to a world in need. Ultimately, the devil's desire to keep Christians poor is a spiritual issue that requires a spiritual solution. By understanding the devil's strategy and responding with faith, wisdom, and obedience, Christians can overcome the challenges of poverty and experience the financial freedom and abundance that God desires for them. As the Bible teaches, "My God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus." Philippians 4:19. By trusting in God's provision and living a life of financial stewardship, Christians can defeat the devil's plan and fulfill their God-given purpose.